Today. He's Karl Rove. He's Kevin McCarthy. Good morning, gentlemen. Nice to see you both in person. Good to have you here. Let's start with you. The effect of this trial so far.
You don't want to start with the Speaker of the House, please.
Well, usually I go this way and Dana goes that way. So.
Yeah. We don't really know. There's going to be de minimis effect. I mean, people have already taken most of this and taken it into their calculation. If you like Trump, this is terrible. If you hate Trump, this is wonderful. What we don't know is the effect on the very small group of people who want to vote for neither Biden nor Trump, but are going to end up voting. And there was an ick factor last week in all the discussion about Stormy Daniels, but we do not know and will not know until this whole drama is over. It depends on, does he get convicted or not? If he doesn't get convicted, it washes away. If he does get convicted, it has an impact both ways, stirring up his people to anger and having an effect potentially on that group of people who don't like either one of their choices.
What do you hear from Republicans running for office? Are they affected by this at all?
No, because, I mean, I think people already made a decision on this in the last election. I mean, you see 100,000 people turning out in New Jersey. It seems to me the White House has the same strategy for President Trump and President Biden, to keep them both off the campaign trail. And I don't know. I mean, they want Biden off and they want Trump off, but I think it's backfiring. I think Trump had utilized the press well in this, where he goes to the fire stations, he does the other bodega and others, and Biden continues to fail. His press doesn't come out. You've got to remember, where they're trying this case is his second best county for President Biden in the entire nation. How can anybody have a fair trial here? And everything we hear that's coming out of it, it seems like it's set up regardless of what the verdict is. You can appeal because this judge has gone so far one way. So I don't think it's what the Democrats had planned the whole time, that it was going to benefit them. I think there is some backfiring here. And as Karl says, we'll have to wait till the end to see what the verdict is, how the outcome, but I don't see it getting what the Democrats planned from the beginning to do to Trump.
I tell you, a lot of people talking about this New York Times poll that's still, I mean, really some ripples from this thing. You look through this article, it's hard to find the Times writing a good word about Joe Biden. I mean, they really have to stretch to do it. Put it on screen. Here we go. Biden leads in Wisconsin by 2, according to that poll. Pennsylvania, Trump's up 3. Arizona, Trump's up 7. Michigan, Trump's up 7. Georgia, Trump's up 10. Nevada, Trump's up 12. You believe it?
Well, I don't believe any given poll, but if you put it in the context of what we're seeing, the averages of others, the two things pop out. First of all, the former president leads in the Sun Belt states, Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, and these by well outside the margin of error. And he does so also, incidentally, in the national averages. But you take in this poll the states where he is outside the margin of error, 12 points up in Nevada, 10 points up in Georgia, 7 points up in both Michigan and Arizona, and that gets him, if he wins all the states that he won last time around, which everybody sort of assumes, that gets him to 283 votes in the Electoral College. If you toss in then Pennsylvania, where he's not up outside the margin of error, he's up by 3, just on the edge of it, it gets him to 302.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that we saw in this poll that was kind of interesting was your choice for Senate. If you could pull that up for everybody here. So, Mr. Speaker Kevin.
Yes.
What are we calling you now?
Whatever you call it.
Mr. Speaker Kevin. So, one of the things that's interesting is that, incumbents do always have a historic advantage, and it looks like this could also be happening. It's early in the race, even though it feels like it's not. But in some of these states, the Senate Democrat incumbent seems to be holding their own.
Yeah, but that's only, you haven't had the campaign yet. People aren't paying attention. So the name ID for the incumbent is higher than challenger. But remember this, the last time Biden was on the ticket, when he ran for president and won, it was the first time since 1994 not one Republican incumbent in Congress lost. All the pollsters said we'd lose 15 seats. No, the Democrats lost. The map for the Republicans in the Senate is very good. You're going to have a primary tonight in West Virginia. That's a pickup. You've got Larry Hogan, former governor in Maryland, running. That was one of the smartest recruits I found across this nation. It puts that into play. I think there's a better advantage for Republicans and easier for them to win seats in the House and
actually,
Senate.
we're looking at Larry Hogan going to vote right now. So he's a former governor of Maryland. The primary is today. He will be the Republican nominee after today.
And the Democrats are fighting it out for who's going to win. You've got the most money ever spent.
He's a good candidate in that state.
He's a great guy. I tried to recruit him years ago to run for the House.
Yeah, he's not a good candidate. He is a fantastic candidate. And
he puts that state in play.
Yeah, 68% approval rating, and he's been out of office for a year now.
Did that take Chuck Schumer by surprise?
Absolutely did. Let me go back for a second to the polls on the Senate races. This is not good news for the Democrats. Think about this. In Nevada, the incumbent Democrat is running 2 points ahead of Joe Biden. In Arizona, they're running 3 points behind. Pennsylvania running 2 points ahead. Wisconsin running 2 points ahead. So it's not like the Democrats none of them are above 50%, and they're all incumbents. So if I were a Republican Senate candidate looking at these numbers, I'd say I'm in the hunt. Because none of them are as well known as the incumbents, and none of them have the advantage.
And if you got an incumbent under 50, you're vulnerable. The other thing you have to remember, when Biden won, he only won by 48,918 votes, and his favorability rating was plus 10. Now it's minus 20. But the thing, Trump has been leading for 14 months in these states, so I don't know why this is shocking to people.
Right.
What's really telling is how much closer we're getting. But the interesting part you have to look is, where are independents? The whole Democrat program is like, this is democracy on the ballot. 53% of independents believe democracy is a threat if Biden gets another 4 years. The economy, they want to talk about the Biden economy. It's the #1 issue that's driving people against. They're losing the youth. They're losing, if you look at where they are with Hispanics and African American voters, there's a big drop to where he was before. So if he barely won by less than 49,000 votes last time, and he's in a weaker position now is a unique opportunity for Republicans to run on the issues of what they want to govern on and have a really big night come November.
It's a very interesting conversation. I want to read one line from the New York Times piece. Mr. Trump and Mr. Biden are essentially tied among 18 to 29-year-old Hispanic voters, even though each group gave Biden more than 60% of their vote in 2020. I was talking with a leading Republican governor late yesterday, who will go nameless, was off the record. They are absolutely convinced that Joe Biden will not be the candidate. He is anyway. Roll this clip from Kamala Harris, because I asked him, what do you do about Harris if that's the case? First, this clip that she said yesterday.
We have to know that sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open. Sometimes they won't. And then you need to kick that door down.
A little bit of language, that to the side. That's not the point of this conversation. The point is, do you believe that Democrats will find a way around this devastating New York Times poll and have an open convention in Chicago?
I don't, and it's not just the New York Times poll, it's virtually everything else. The White House is in denial. If something were to happen to him, she would still be on the ticket, because there's no way they can remove her without alienating further older black women and blacks in general. And so they're stuck. And she is, think about it, her numbers are worse than Biden's. I mean, she is not a non-factor in this. She is a negative in this whole drama. She's causing people who say, I like what Donald Trump did, but I don't like him, and I'd like to find a reason to vote against him. But if something happens to that really old guy on the top of the Democratic ticket, I do not want her to be the president. And that's going on underneath the surface and cementing into Donald Trump's numbers some people who would like to find an excuse not to vote for him.
How do they come down on that?
Everyone thinks he's going to get off the ticket. The only way I've ever watched an elected official get off a ticket is if they can't win. He's in denial. His whole family, he has run for this office for the last 50 years. He is not giving up. He's not getting off the ticket. But there's a higher probability, just because of his age, that vice president, if Biden was to win, will become president sometime in the next 4 years.
Gentlemen, thank you,
Great
and
to have
stand
you.
by, okay? All right? We're not done with